Well, there has been a slight delay between the last session of Alien and this session of Alien, but it wasn't 3 months.
It's 3 months of cryosleep. It's a time.
It was a short time ago. And I know that the healthy, retentive, razor sharp minds of the three gentlemen you see on the screen with me have retained every iota of system knowledge and play experience that we have accrued over the run of this short campaign. And so no one will hesitate or flounder or worry or need to access their 19 pages of cheat sheets in order to play the game. But that notwithstanding, we will bravely leap back into the fray and enjoy our experience of Alien. So rather than put somebody on the spot and prove how retentive and razor sharp their minds are, I'm going to do a quick recap.
This was the Colonial Security campaign, right? Where the cops.
That's right. Colonial Security and moving, right? We have to ship people's furniture across the galaxy. No, it's not that campaign. It's the other campaign. All right. So as Colonial Marines, this particular unit has had an affinity for one of their commanding officers, a Major Ibrahim O'Bannon, and suspicion of their overall commanding officer, Brigadier General Charles Tenet. Over the course of the campaign, certain details have come out that have cast a very negative light on Tenet and suggesting strongly that he's been taking kickbacks and bribes and funneling money out of the Corps into his own pocket. Well, kickbacks and bribes from whom? Weyland-Yutani, right? So over the course of the campaign, there have been strong suggestions that Weyland-Yutani has been engaged in unethical practices, illegal research, and the exploitation of colonists. Through it all, the man that we love to hate, a mercenary commander by the name of Regis Lim, has been committing atrocities, not the least of which upon the Marine Corps itself. But in the closing of the previous mission, it was revealed that there might be some method behind his madness. There might be some reason for the atrocities. But even with this little bit of détente, it was not possible to bridge any kind of gap between the Marine Corps and the mercenary company in terms of working together, although they recognized some common goals. They agreed to disagree, and our Marines evacuated, right, their ship, the Montebello, leaving it in the hands of mercenaries. And they head out in a Mantis, which they altered to include more hypersleep chambers, and they set out for the colony of New Galveston, pausing only to ensure that all of this information that they had uncovered was broadcast to the Marine Corps. And they hoped that at least one day it would arrive there and be heard by the right ears. But they themselves were intending to follow the transmission, and they intended to interact personally with the Marine Corps at New Galveston, trusting Lieutenant Jumper, right, to guide them safely to that colony. And that is where the session will begin tonight, today, this morning, this evening, if there are no questions.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. So one of our play group is absent today. Craig cannot be here, and so we may or may not encounter his character today, and we'll see what happens as we go. All right. Now, hypersleep, according to all the literature, is not dissimilar to real sleep. Some technicians say that you do dream, and some technicians say that you don't. The propaganda makes it sound fantastic, right? Go to sleep and wake up as if no time had passed at your destination, light years away from home. As experienced Marines, you know that there are dreams and that waking up from them if they go awry is not possible, and returning to them if they are pleasant is likewise not possible. And there is among you a sense as you wake up, as you swim up out of the depths of hypersleep, there is that sensation of falling. So as you rise toward consciousness, the memory of that fear and feel of falling fragments and twists away from the slippery grasp of your memory as the sound and then the sense of the cryo chamber return to you. As your eyes unfog, as active consciousness returns to your brain, details slowly force their way into your attention. You are, in a sense, uncomfortably pressed up against the side of the pod. And as eyes open, some of you are seeing cracks across the clear covering, right, of the hood. Your inner ear is telling you that what you see as the ceiling is a wall.
Are there flashing lights of
the lights
emergency?
seem to be coming from outside the room, from the access point to the converted cargo chamber for these additional hypersleep pods. So you're looking at reflected light and from outside the room. The bulkhead door is open.
Can we open the pods, or did they open?
They're going through the process now, but
cycling?
they need some additional force.
All right.
I'm kicking mine open or pushing with my legs as hard as I can in my weakened state.
Right.
I'm trying to roll out onto the floor gracefully, the wall.
That's right. This is the first time you've had to do this with only one leg. Your prosthetic leg not being in the pod for reasons of frostbite and other complications.
Of course not. Okay. So Stumpy will try to roll out.
Yeah, I'll try to push mine open as well.
I'll try to push mine, but I'm kind of holding on because I realize that we're vertical, right? We should be horizontal. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So it takes, like, your mind is sluggish in waking up, not unlike being drunk or being in a fever state. And so your eyes are telling you that what you're looking at is the ceiling, and it wants to believe that that's the ceiling, but your ear is telling you, no, that's not the ceiling. And so there's moments of, really brief moments of nausea and disorientation. So those of you who are tough can give me a toughness check.
So
We're going to start out with 1 stress because this situation is clearly foobar.
All right, and the toughness check
would be stamina.
Yes.
So it's 6 for me.
strength plus stamina plus
Plus 1 stress. So stamina plus strength plus 1 for stress.
You got it.
Oh, plus strength. Okay, right. Good. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me once again. Who's watching
Look
this
at that
training
roll,
videos?
Corporal Rios. Okay.
I have
Successes.
2 successes on 7
All
dice.
right, Sergeant.
We're looking for 6s, aren't we?
That
Yes,
is
sir.
correct,
Yes.
sir.
6 is
I have
only.
none.
And if you
I have none.
did you pull a 1 on the stress dice?
Heck no, I didn't.
No. Okay. So you could theoretically push it. That's what I'm talking about. And you add
Adding
1
a-
stress if you do.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm doing.
Sir,
That's
yes,
what I'm
sir.
doing. I'm doing because this is bad. It's really, really bad. This is really, really bad because I get no successes, but no facehuggers.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay. So there is disorientation. And perhaps this we can forgive Baxter for this because he might be reaching out with the leg, which is no longer there.
Mm.
Right.
Oh, whoops. Out. Oh.
Okay, so as your senses come to you, and in this order, Bodhi gets his bearings first and finds his way out of the pod, finds his footing first, beats the nausea first, and then Kaminski, and then Baxter. And once you have your position of standing on the wall floor, you find that things that had been secured, duffel bags, Baxter's leg, extra ammunition, these sorts of things that had been piled up in this room because there was nowhere else for them to go, have been hurled up against what is now the floor. And as you do a quick visual scan, you see some of the pods are trapped in the waking cycle and are cycling through errors. Some are still maintaining a steady hum of maintaining their sleep, and some have already been opened. And one has exploded outward.
Ooh.
oh no. Are there klaxons? Again, are there emergency klaxons or flashing lights to indicate a state of emergency or
No,
what?
not flashing lights, but definitely low power battery emergency lights. And the ones in this room, which you guys hastily repurposed to be an additional cryo chamber, don't seem to be functioning. The ones in the hallway are lit and amber, but not flashing, not cycling, just a low power amber glow.
And everybody would have been in these things, or would there have been shifts of people
No.
awake?
10 of the Marine company, from mainly the engineers, are in the Mantis's built-in hypersleep chambers. There's 10 of them there. The rest of you are in these ones which you liberated from the space station.
No, my question is, would anybody have been awake, or would everybody have been?
Oh, everyone would have been asleep, yes, including
All right.
Jumper. Right.
All right.
Jumper would have
And
been the
that-
last to cycle herself into the hypersleep pod.
So
And we are-
I tell Bodhi, help Baxter out.
Yeah, give me my damn leg.
Yeah.
I'll start looking to see if there any. If everybody else is alive,
I'll look for Baxter's leg to see if I can reattach it. And just for clarification, we are not standing on the floor. We're standing on a wall.
We're standing on the wall.
Because we're sideways.
Right.
So imagine that the
Right.
Mantis is
Yeah.
on its side. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, normally
Gotcha.
gravity would make this not matter.
Right.
We're on
Artificial gravity. Yeah. From what I remember of the ship's layout, is this what would be the floor if we're accelerating that way? Meaning, are the cryo chambers, perpendicular to the
I got you.
direction
No.
of thrust, or are we like falling into a gravity well of a planet or something?
It could be something like that. It
Because
certainly has-
that's my
Yeah.
right.
But the engines would not be behind this wall.
Okay, so it doesn't correspond to artificial gravity failed, and we're now under thrust,
Right.
but rather
Something
it
else.
failed and
Some-
we're falling.
There's
Yeah.
some external some external factor.
Oh, they quit the physics lesson. Just get me help me put my freaking leg on. Okay.
All right, so as they're doing
See
that,
who the
Kaminski
hell is
wants to do a
alive.
head count. Is that the idea?
Yeah, see, make sure that everybody's alive and help out anybody who needs to be helped.
Okay. Some of the engineers, like I mentioned, their hypersleep pods are trying to go through the wake cycle. And you can see from the outside that this is in response to crisis. Right. So the ship has automatically identified some of the sleepers to deal with an emergency and has left other people in sleep. So it's waking up the commanding officers and some engineers. Okay, makes sense.
Mhm.
So as you go through the quick head count, engineer, medic, heavy weapons officer, you find jumper, you'd expect the ship to have awakened her, but her pod has errored out and has remained in its sleep mode. The destroyed pod is Patches.
Oh. Do we see any sign of him?
No.
No sign whatsoever.
Sarge, are there timestamps on that malfunction or something?
I'll check. Good question.
Trying to figure out how long this has been, and as opposed to 4 hours ago or 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
If you want to interact with this with the system, you'll need to give me a contact check.
Oh. Contact is what, wits?
Yes, wits. Yes.
Oh, we're in
We're
trouble.
screwed. Yes.
But I'll do my best.
It's
Hey.
already,
Got one.
there you go.
It sent the wake command maybe 15 minutes ago in response to what was only listed in the system as a catastrophic engine failure.
Jeez.
Catastrophic engine
So
failure.
I'll call, and is there like blood in Patches broken?
There is not.
I'll call him over the comm. Patch, come in, Patch.
There are no comms.
Uh-oh.
Son of a gun.
So I'll try, because I have medical knowledge. I'll try to cycle Jumper's pod to wakefulness
Okay.
manually or something, or override it or something.
Okay. Give me that check.
That would be a medical aid, I'm thinking. So that's 5 plus 1 stress. Survey says nothing, honey.
And a one.
Oh no!
You got a
Yes.
face
Oh,
hugger.
yes.
So a panic roll, and we're going to use, I guess, this one for panic. Plus 1 to the result. That is a 4, which is fine. I keep it together.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
There's
So
a
it's
bridge,
frustrating.
right?
Pardon?
There's a bridge though, right? There's a place with windows.
Yeah.
You can look out. Yeah.
You're in a cargo.
I'm heading.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm grabbing my shotgun and I'm heading there.
Yeah, we better get some armor and guns and go to the bridge, see what's going on, or the nearest porthole anyway.
All right. So it's really, it's frustrating. This thing should just respond. It's meant to be foolproof. It's got big, physical buttons. It doesn't require command lines or anything. It's by the manual, but it's simply not working. And you recognize as the frustration is building that it's going into a low power mode to preserve its occupant. And there's, at this point, unless you're a real tech, there's not much you're going to be able to do with it. So evacuating this chamber and navigating kind of awkwardly, through the tunnel, you get out into the corridor and make your way toward the only place in the Mantis that has physical viewports, which is the cockpit.
Right.
And the first thing that greets your eyes as you're starting to be able to see the front cockpit is that, again, the power's out. There's a low power warning light. There's a list of messages from the ship's mother, of errors. But what you're seeing outside the cockpit are fragments and particles and drifting bits of destruction, right? But also the looming bulk, right, along what is the the natural bottom of the Mantis, but is currently your wall, right? Your right wall of some vessel, right? The Mantis is pressed up hard against some vessel, and its dorsal, its ventral docking port or clamps may be what's keeping it in position.
The hell?
So you are oriented with the larger ship's gravity.
Right.
God, what? And can I identify what kind of ship it is?
Give us a try.
Okay, what am I using here?
That would probably be observation.
Yeah, observation would be fine. Or
Okay, cool.
for giggles, your empathic nature. Does Baxter really care about other people and what they wrote in on?
Well, not necessarily. Take my pick. We're gonna go with observation because Baxter might have a slightly better chance with observation.
Observation and wits.
He's seen some ships before, you know.
At your stress.
Okay, yes, I've done that, sir. And so I have succeeded. However, oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. I've succeeded with 2 successes.
Nice.
Okay.
1 due to stress.
Well, it's easily recognizable, though seeing it from this angle is unusual, and it is dark and it is damaged. But based on some of the forward projections, Baxter's very confident that this is a Conestoga. So the exact same vessel as the Sulaco, slightly larger than the Montebello.
That's a big ship, Sarge. A big ship.
Well, we better saddle up and see who's on board with us.
Yeah. Let's hustle. I
Ready.
run back to the barracks area to suit up and load up. Yeah.
Okay.
Not good. Imagine the Lucky Devils are still told to be our persona non grata as I load up Francine.
The weapon for fighting in ships is the shotgun, right?
Generally speaking.
Because it doesn't pierce the hull, right? Is that the idea? Yeah. So I guess I am going to use
There are some areas aboard ships like the Sulaco where you'd be fine, sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So I'll use my hidden stash talent to procure myself an extra shotgun that was lying around. Yeah.
Don't worry, buddy. I'll use the incinerator. I won't actually fire up the smart gun unless I have to.
Okay.
You can trust me.
So the 3 of you are going to exit Mantis.
Yes.
Okay. Could you describe for me your method? The host ship, if you are indeed docked and locked, will of course be notified if the airlock cycles.
Right.
So stealth is not really
an option.
If you go through that. If you want to do a spacewalk, well then maybe that could be stealthy, but this is a USCMC ship. They're on your side. It's your buddies, your allies. How bad could it be?
It's pretty freaking bad.
Everyone's commanding it, right? Interesting that they haven't, as far as we know, they haven't been in here. Or can we tell if
there's no sign of a firefight.
Okay.
But there is sign of things being tossed around. It's certainly more of a mess than you'd imagine it.
Okay. Interesting that they left us in this So they might have our man and be questioning him.
It's possible.
Possible.
It's weird that they broke the cryo chamber, but then again, maybe it was just damage when the engines failed. He must have shot us down and then docked. So
So now the question is, do we have 3 spacesuits on board, and would we know how to another way of getting into a ship like the Sulaco?
Sure. You had special training for this exact mission
situation.
profile.
God damn it, Kaminski, you're not going to make me do a spacewalk, are you?
So, I don't know. Since we don't have the option of riding your favorite vessels down on a planet, I thought it was the second best thing you'd like to do.
Did we try waking anybody else up? We didn't, right?
Not to my knowledge.
No. Want to try for?
Yeah, I think we're gonna need us a comtech to see if we can tap into their systems. Do I have a comtech backup?
Only you know.
Rifleman? No. Only I know if we have one. I don't have a backup character who's a comtech. I used to have one. I don't know what happened to him. He must have died. Holden died.
Yeah, I think if they
Left
wanted
him
to
at
talk, they would have
9436.
contacted us by now.
Well, we could no. You know what? I'm gonna wake up a new comtech, and we'll give him a name as soon as I figure one out.
Oh, you old school guy, you.
Yeah.
Johnson.
What?
Johnson.
Johnson. No, Johnson is not good. No, not good. We're gonna go with Raymond Marlowe. No, that's too close. Raymond Chandler.
That's
No, it's Raymond Hammett is what we should call him. There we go. Raymond Hammett. Ray Hammett.
Private.
Private first class Raymond Hammett. And Hammett is a comtech.
All right, so let's see if you can
I'll try to
overcome the situation and try and wake him up.
yeah. Because hopefully his system is not messed up like Jumper's. Hopefully.
Right. Hopefully. Okay, so this is hard. It's -2.
Okay. So
I didn't want to get your hopes up.
so I said I had 5 pool plus 1 from stress, but now I take 2 away. Is that right?
Mhm.
That is 3 and 1. Let me see. Haha. That is a success.
Look at you. Okay. So it's not easy. It takes time. Are you planning to do the extra vehicular action?
I think that's the plan.
Okay,
You know,
so
so that
others
maybe
can suit up while this is all going on.
right.
And it will take some time to deal with the context disorientation.
Right.
And okay, so all the gear is gathered, and all the ammunition is gathered, and everyone's suited up, and you free the private from his confines. And then you have to explain it to him.
Right.
What's going on, Corporal?
It's come on, we've been boarded. Ship has been disabled. It's a warship. We're tied by the umbilicals, and so we're figuring on walking outside the cord to the other hatch.
Who boarded us?
We don't know, and that's the deal. That's why we need you. get your gear. We'll go out there and maybe you can interface with the other ship's systems once we reach it and give us a read on the situation.
Okay. I gotta go over here and vomit for a second.
Go ahead, son.
So
I'm gonna
himself of the neutral fluid designed to ease his stomach in transit.
nice. I can do one thing while we're waiting for him to get, and that's just see if there's any sign of our airlocks actually being used. Any records of the cycles, or
Give it a
try
try.
to see if anybody's okay. And that is going to be a
Contact.
All right. All right. That's just going to be straight old wits with a little bit of stress involved. All right, baby, come on. Daddy needs a new pair of. Yeah, I got one success.
Okay. Indeed, there have been numerous comings and goings over the period of time since you have been docked.
Also, there's activity on that floor. Oh, wow.
They just left us here, but that doesn't explain why Patch's unit was blown out from inside.
Yeah, maybe his
I like
pod,
these guys.
maybe his pod cracked, and they figured that leave the rest of us here without waking. It's a good way to keep everybody nice and quiet while they do whatever it is that they want to do. I'll take
Maybe
over the
he
ship.
didn't follow quarantine protocols, Pat, Bodie. But
That too. Or, well, it's that kind of Stoga is too big for pirates. So
Right.
we'll see.
You've learned recently that with the exception of Lim, who seems to have bought his directly from Weyland-Yutani, the commercial variant of the Conestoga is not at all successful.
Yeah.
Right. So they deliver directly to the USCMC and no one else. This class of vessel. They do have a commercial version, unarmed, which is what Lim purchased, and then somehow through the black
rearmed.
market, armed.
Right. Okay, so they're Marines and they must be armed because they blew us out of course.
Okay.
So what's the plan, Sarge? I think we try and go EVA and
Yes, I think that's the only way we're gonna be able to figure out what's happening here, and maybe get our people out.
and then we can tap into the systems and see if we can eavesdrop once we're over there. At
Right.
least that's the plan.
Okay. Good. So it requires physical effort to crank the exterior lock open. Right? These systems are all powerless. Right? The upside is that no one's going to know. Okay. So you enter the airlock. You're going to have to hang on, right? Because there's no way to cycle the air. There's no way to replace the atmosphere once this lock has been opened. So, and then to avoid being blown out into space, right? So we crank open the exterior lock and then can make your way out onto the surface of the Mantis, right? From just behind the cockpit, right? This gives you a very steep and large surface to climb before you'll be able to truly see the Conestoga that you are docked with. Okay, so imagine that the bottom, right, the lower hull of the Mantis is up against the side of the Conestoga, and you're coming out on the side of the Mantis, so downward from the Conestoga's point of view, right? So you have to crawl across its surface in order to get a view. If you go toward the bottom of the Mantis, you'll come up against the hull of the Conestoga and not really be able to see anything. So going the other way toward the top of the Mantis be able to look over its top and be able to see the Conestoga arrayed before you against the backdrop of stars or whatever, wherever you are. And that reveals to you that neatly and cleanly, the drive section of the Mantis has been blown off.
Ooh, that's catastrophic, man.
Right. And it's this sort of precision shot that's used to deal with pirates who refuse to stop. You know, this is a trained maneuver, right? Using the superior speed of the Conestoga to come up behind them and neutralize the drive section.
Fantastic.
But there is so much debris orbiting the two ships. There's no way all of this debris came from the Mantis. And again, it takes your minds a moment to process all the details, right? But as you scan the Conestoga, whose name is obscured by the Mantis, right, you realize that some other large ship, in fact, it would have to be the Montebello, has impacted into and partially through the rearward section of the Conestoga.
Oh, jeez.
That's Lim and business.
Wow.
And why do we say it has to be the Montebello?
Because that's your ship. You know her.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Just for sake of clarification, it would be obvious. I guess we're deep space. There's no nearby suns or planets or something like that, right?
In the direction that you're currently looking,
yeah,
it looks that way, but your eyes are pulled around, right? Desperately trying to make sense of everything around you. And the familiar baleful disc of LV-426 is below.
Every time we think we get away, they pull us back in. This is
what the hell? Are we still? This is one of those dreams, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this must be.
Oh, God.
You're as ugly as usual, so I don't think so. Come on.
Oh, all right, fine.
Yeah. If you're in it, Baxter is likely a nightmare. So
well, listen. One thing I don't get. I don't believe me. I'm glad I get to kill this son of a bitch. He's here. Is they came in the ship like several times. If it was the Marines, if it was the Lucky Devils, why didn't they just kill us? Because that's what they're supposed to. If it's Lim, why don't they just kill us?
I don't know, man.
Just leave us there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's.
Yeah, they could have meant to interrogate us before they killed us.
They have to wake you up for. Well, anyhow, which ship are we going into, Sarge?
I think we should go into the Conestoga.
All right.
That are in control here, right? Or where?
I don't know. The Montebello crashed into them. I don't know if somebody's won this battle or if they're still fighting it. Let's get.
It's better for us.
Yeah, let's. In which case, we probably should get into Conestoga and see if we can gather some allies to face Lim.
You're definitely aware of how deeply damaged the Montebello was. And you're not in a position to see much of its hull, right? You're seeing what's punched through the Conestoga, but the Conestoga next to you clearly still has power and atmosphere and heat. What it doesn't seem to have is drives.
Okay.
And the young Comtech is kind of muttering his head. He may be doing like orbital calculations in his mind. He keeps looking over at the at the planet, and showing some signs of agitation, as if the game master has added a point of stress.
Believe me, son, you want to die up here, not down there. All right. So, where's the Brock? What do you think? Where's the best place we can go to on this ship? And break and entering in.
Yeah,
where's the most advantageous place for us to be?
Right. Where the question is how best place to get in. Is it the best place where the Montebello ripped through it, or maybe do we know of another area that's we can easily force the door based on our training?
Yes, based on the training, you're going to have to identify an airlock and make your way in, and that training was based on what your objective was. Like healing the command deck, or securing the landing bays, or forcing your way into engineering, or toward the computer core. There are
command deck is probably our best bet, right? Although it'll be the most heavily defended point.
Computer core may not be a bad option. We'll give Hammett better access.
True.
Good.
Okay, that sounds good. Computer core.
You're the boss, Sarge. Let's do it.
Okay. So, to save some time, let's compress your journey across the hulls and your dealing with the airlock to survival.
All right.
And we'll make this an assisted roll because this is teamwork, right? So with Kaminski on lead.
Right. Okay. So we contribute 1 dice each.
Right.
And just Kaminski rolls. Yeah.
So I got 5 basic dice, 1 stress, and 2 dice from you fellas.
Yes.
Yep.
So clank, clank, clank.
Their magnetic shoes.
Yeah. In the vacuum of space. And I got 2 successes and only a 5 on the stress die.
Excellent. Okay. Now you know that you're on the clock, right? Your training tells you how much time a fully loaded Conestoga, just like this one, right? You trained for the Sulaco, right? So, and you trained for Lim's, right? Queen Anne, it's revenge, right? So, once this door opens, you know how many minutes you have before a normally outfitted and crewed response can take place. So you're comfortable, you're in your element now. And if there has been disruption, which seems likely based on the fact that there's a ship sticking out of the other ship, you may have more time.
Alrighty.
So our goal is make it inside and try to get to the computer core.
Right on. So the 4 of you press into the airlock, it cycles shut, the atmosphere is replaced, pressure is equalized, the interior door, before it opens, issues a warning. Okay. That general quarters has been sounded. Please proceed directly to your duty station, right? It's recognizing your USCMC transponders, right?
Okay.
Just giving you an automated message. You are expecting this, but maybe not expecting that the interior of the ship is on red alert, right? So the interior door cycles open after giving its warning. And that's exactly what you find on the other side. There's smoke. There are emergency lights. There is an intermittent klaxon. You know, it's no longer on the, we've recently had an emergency, so it's beating all the time. It's now on a longer delay, right? Just to keep people aware that the emergency situation has continued. But there's no one in the corridor that you can see. Okay.
All right, I'll take a look at the motion tracker as soon as we're inside and have locked the
Right. So on the other side of the airlock door is, of course, a station for dealing with the suits. Right. And other administrative things like that. You can see the corridor beyond. So pulling out the motion tracker, give me an observation roll to sort out all the chaos you see.
So that's a total of we did a spacewalk, guys. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 1-6 on the stress die. Otherwise,
That's a good place to get that.
yeah.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Hang on.
And can you give me a supply check on your poor beleaguered?
Was that 3 or 5 dice? I'm sorry.
It's down to 3.
Down to 3, right? And they're all stress dice, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got a 2, a 5, and a 6.
Okay. All right. So everybody's leaving.
I'm here, yeah.
If I recall correctly, those suits are a little bulky and constraining, aren't they?
Yeah. You definitely don't
want to
keep
ditch
them.
those. We'll ditch those. Okay, good. All right. And other than that, then when we're ready, I mean, I gotta just take point and go directly.
Yeah. As we're getting ready, I asked Baxter, no family duels mishap this time, Baxter?
Not so far.
Now, Kaminski, as you're eyeing the readout of the motion tracker, you see there's not a lot of motion per se. There's a large cluster, right? Almost like 2 battle lines drawn, right? Several decks below. Okay. But there is motion, and you recognize the motion from your experience in the alien ship on the surface of LV-426.
Sorry, what happened?
There are 2 recognizably fast dots moving through these 2 battle lines.
Yeah, there's a gunfight, and there's a couple where it looks like 2 aliens having a buffet.
God.
But that's some decks below us, right?
Yes.
Some decks below. Yes.
Some decks below.
This
Great.
must be Lynn letting loose with.
So just Anthony, just remember, I'm an old man, and it's been a long day. It's late, so I just want to make sure. As far as I understand it, should our goal to be getting the heck out of Dodge, the Mantis is unusable, right? We'd have to find a way to wake up our crew and bring them
Transfer
to
them.
these ships or get another vehicle, right?
Yep.
All right. So, hey, it's all the day's work. Like a day at the farm, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Did we make it to the core yet, or what?
No, not yet.
No, everyone is out of their suits and weapons are ready. The motion tracker was checked, and it's little surprise of the aliens are here and they are among us, right?
Right.
Now it's too far away to hear the gunfire, but the positioning on the motion tracker, it just kind of suggests to your mind that that's what you're seeing is battle lines and the erratic movement of the figures that move like the aliens moved, right?
Right. All right. So we got to think long term here.
I show them the motion tracker. See the guys fighting are the ones that look like Pac-Man, the 2 little ghosts. Those are the aliens.
As Kaminski tries to keep calm. And
so what's our plan here, Sarge? Do we go to the core, verify if there's any do we should know the ship's complement, right? So we know that they carry the drop ships, but do they carry any other space-worthy vessels inside? Like they don't carry a Mantis or anything.
Normally they're equipped with 2 Cheyenne. One of those, number 1, is outfitted to take the APC.
Right.
The other one is outfitted as a crew carrier.
Right.
Right. So that's the normal complement, but each ship may have some variation on the theme, right? Some of them may carry a Mantis on an external lock. The Montebello, for example, is what does that, right? So 2 Cheyenne inside and 1 Montebello, or 1 Mantis on the outside.
Right.
She, of course, has gone through all of her ships now.
What I'd like to do in the core my goal, I don't know if I have this right, is to see if by accessing it, maybe there's some lock on the pods over at the Mantis, right? That would be that maybe we can undo.
On the escape pods?
Yeah, on the life pods, for our people.
Right. That's what
my is that the Mantis is not powered. It's on internal power, but it's possible to power the Mantis from what it docks on.
Right.
Clearly, that's not to the advantage of the people who captured you. So that wasn't done, but that can be done.
Okay. So that
right.
sounds
like so if we get to the core, we can check if there's any other ships attached to this one, right? So if they're on the off chance that there's another intact Mantis on the ship, we should be able to get a reading, maybe unlock it, maybe start powering it up, so that then we can go back and get our crew. But at least we'll get a good idea of the situation. I don't know.
Right. If we can power up the Mantis so we can get our people out, that's the first. Because if we don't get them out of there, we'll never get them to another vessel.
Right.
So
right.
I think that's our. This is like our guys we're playing Burning Wings. My belief is I will get my people out of here. I will start by powering up the Mantis.
Yes.
All right. Well, if we don't get nerd boy to the computer core pretty soon, we're all gonna be dead. So of old age.
Old man, hop along. That's nerd man to you.
I like this kid. All right, come on.
Let's go.
And then his voice cracks uncomfortably. All right then.
Go.
Okay. So to power up the Mantis means going down a few decks away from the core. But you might be able to do this directly from the core if you can gain this, right? So
let's get this kid doing
one deck.
All right, let's go.
All right. So you've done this several times before in recent memory, creeping up the access
the computer core.
The computer core. Right. So it almost feels familiar and comfortable, even though some of your best friends are missing. Right. But as you get up to that floor, you can hear angry voices, which slowly resolve through the echoes into being a conversation, right? And a very, very angry, but also afraid female voice is saying, "You didn't bring him here, did you? He's not in containment." And the very recognizable and also very angry voice of Brigadier General Charles Tenet says, "I am tired of your bitching."
Okay, that's all I need to hear.
Okay.
I'm going forward with Francine complete locked and loaded.
You're charging down the hallway?
Not charging, just walking down in a confident, calm, and tactical manner.
Okay.
I would engage any.
So again, it's very dim lighting. You're under emergency lighting. This is a command area, so there are no klaxons here, but you can see the spinning, yellow lights and the white, clear white, like LED brightness of floor lights, that just, so when you look down, there's no doubt about where your feet are going. But most of the hallway just seems dark, right? Except for this amber emergency glow putting you in caution. There's flickering red lights on the consoles, on the walls, for the doors that you pass. And down at the end, right, the briefing room across from the computer core right, is where this argument is happening. And of course, there are two Marines standing, rigidly and emotionlessly at guard outside that door. But the door is open and nothing impedes your ability to hear them arguing about which one of them is in control and which one of them is responsible for Lim's madness. And so the guards register the approach of Baxter, and they snap to attention and bring up their pitifully small issue rifles.
Bad idea, fellas.
It's Baxter. It's Baxter. Hold it right there, Baxter, one of them says, assuming that command voice.
Do we recognize him?
Yeah, right. He's one of the Willoughbys. There's a whole bunch of Willoughbys. He's one of them. He's either the dumb one or the one who's always in trouble. But either way, he's not someone you want in your squad.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep walking forward slowly.
Okay, so there's no sign of them moving safeties off or any of those things. They're just kind of waiting for you to see reason. And Willoughby takes a kind of an unconscious step backward, right? But at the same time, he's like puffing up his shoulders and his chest to look bigger, right? He probably can't see the rest of you behind Baxter and Baxter's big gun.
So I'm just going to call out loudly, General Tenet.
The argument stops. The two guards, Willoughby and the other guy, just kind of look at each other like, oh crap,
Are you having trouble with your ship?
Marine, get your ass in here, he bellows.
Very slowly saunter in there with the gun just pointed straight at whomever I see in there.
Okay.
Clearly safety off, it's
Kaminski, Bodie.
Yeah, we're following.
Are the Willoughby and the other one just not doing anything, or
I just want to know what you're doing because they see you, right? So.
Right.
Yeah, we're backing. I think let's back him up. Let's see what Tenet has to say.
Right. So I'll tell the guards, right? Stand down. We're here to see the general. We're here to speak to the general.
Okay, so Baxter's coming forward. Baxter yells out. The general yells out. The two Marines look at each other, look at all of you, right? One of them's calling out to the generals, like, he's armed, sir, and you're calling out to,
stand down. Yeah.
Right. And
slightly outranked in this command situation, yes. But hey.
they're both wondering why did it have to happen on my shift.
Exactly. they're wondering exactly that. There's no way for them to win here, right? They don't have any good solution. So give that command roll a try, but this is going to be formidable.
Oh, geez. How many dice less is that?
Minus
how many less
3 dice.
Minus 3 dice. Oh, that's not that bad, I think.
But the presence of Baxter and Francine?
Yes.
And Kaminski, who everybody loves, give you assistance dice.
Ooh, so 2 extra dice. Nice. So here we go. Survey says, nah, they're not going for it. The general is in command here.
It happens.
Yeah.
All right. So all of this is going on, creating more and more confusion, more and more uncertainty among Willoughby and his unfortunate companion. And Baxter's able to get a look inside the room. Okay. And he sees in, not dress rank, but, field uniform. He sees the very handsome, charming, charismatic, forceful, perfectly coiffed Charles Tenet, right? And he's perfectly posed, right? Behind him, there's the very small viewport, right? Armor glass. You can see the baleful eye of LV-426 through the curvature of the window behind him. He's got both of his fists clenched and on the table. He's leaning dramatically across it with all of his uniform perfectly creased, and his row after row after row of medals, ranks, and citations, right? And he's like, Baxter. And the only way he could know your name is if you've done something really wrong really often, or if you're on his hit list.
Right.
Baxter, I should have known it was you.
Tenet, it's good to see you again, General. Very good to see you again.
You have your rank because of my graciousness, but I know I've earned mine.
You've earned yours. Did you earn all those Weyland-Yutani kickbacks as well? What'd you do to earn those, Charlie?
Oh, he falters a bit. Baxter, what I need from you is an effort to successfully intimidate this man.
All right, intimidation.
He is, of course, going to oppose your efforts to intimidate him.
Right, okay. And am I using empathy for this?
Pardon?
Yes.
What is our mental? It's just plain old empathy? Damn it. Okay.
Hang on. Let me see if it's manipulation or if it's command.
Well,
probably command.
it doesn't really matter because I don't have.
He doesn't have either of those.
Yeah, come on. Man.
Who needs that when you have a smart gun?
Exactly. Okay. So, all right. So 3 dice and 2 stress dice. And I have 1 success and I'm not panicking. Good.
How much? 1 success?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Better than I could do.
All right. Sorry, I just have to get the dice ready here. For see if resistance is futile.
Prepare to be Francinerated.
Well, the threat, your outrage, all of this stuff seems hot and righteous and true here as it's forming words and rising up. But the fruit of your vitriol kind of dies on the vine in the face of his, he's been in the Marine game for a very long time. Right? And the intimidation kind of turns against you. Not unmanning you per se, but there's that sense of guts turning to water, surviving knee turning to jelly, maybe just a little. I want you to put that gun down and stop blathering this nonsense. We have a situation here. That madman has unleashed some kind of hellish monster on my ship. It's killing my men. It's killing your friends. And you're standing here. You have the gall to stand here and insult me to my face.
Okay, Andy, just to put this, he's in the room with Tennant and the lady we haven't been able to see, right? And we're in the hallway with Willoughby and his pal.
Right. And you can push right in with them if you like. The intimidation is just between these 2 men.
Yeah. No, I tell Bodie and Hammett, enough of this crap. And so so basically, enough of this crap. We know what's what. So basically, I raised my rifle and pointed at the Marines, and I'm going to try and command intimidation. You put those guns down now.
Okay.
Put those guns. Tenen's a criminal, and we're here to take him down. You put those guns down now, or you're going to get it too.
Okay.
Nice. I'll back him up. I'll back him up by raising my shotgun to the other guy.
Okay.
And how many penalty dices do I get?
Against these two?
Yeah.
Just one.
Just one. Yeah, because I'm telling them I'm here to take down their general. So
Right, but you get one assistance from me.
So I get one assistance from you, and I get my stress die.
Right. It's your straight roll. So, yeah.
Okay. I got nothing, but I will push that.
Do it. So add another stress
That's
and
correct.
add it to the pool.
Yep.
I got nothing, but I like it. All right. All right, I got 3.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So maybe in the back of their minds, they see that the only hope of the survival of their careers, or maybe the survival of them as living organisms, is to ally with Kaminski versus Tenet, because everybody knows that Kaminski and O'Bannon are tight. And if Tenet goes down, O'Bannon takes that spot, right? And so maybe this is self-preservation, or maybe it's charm. Who can say?
Yeah, he's so charming.
Right. So Baxter, you can kind of hear Kaminski's voice, but not really hear what's being said as you're getting the browbeating of your life across the desk by the intimidating Brigadier General. Off to your side is this woman who's just not really, she's just a woman. She's in a fine business suit, and looks like she's got an expensive hairstyle, but all eyes are on Tenet, Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm
go on.
I'll say so. Yeah, here I am. I'm fighting like every instinct I have is to respect my superior officers. I'm a lifetime Corps guy. I'm like 40 years old. I've been there since I was 18 years old. So most of my life has been here. I'm already like, everything, my guts like are churning. It's like, this is completely wrong. Here I am being chastised. And, I look at Tenet. I was like, I want my leg back, you son of a bitch. And I pull the trigger.
Yes.
Yes, let's.
So Kaminski and Bodie and the two guards come in, right, to arrest Tenet to the orchestral music of Francine.
Butter.
Let's rock.
I'll just roll quietly. God, I hope they don't pierce the bridge of it.
Pulverize.
That is 2 successes.
Okay.
Which I believe I shall just put into the extra one of damage.
So yeah, how much does Francine base damage? 3?
Just 4.
Oh, it's just
3.
4.
I'm sorry, no, 3. No, she does 3. I'm sorry, 3. So it's 4.
3.
We're all together.
4
all
total.
together.
Yeah.
I do remind you there is a window behind you.
Well, shoot his legs.
Can you
Nice.
use one of the extra successes to avoid hitting the window?
Okay.
He can impress Kaminski or something like that. But I like the idea of hitting his legs. That's beautiful. It solves the problems.
It's also it's symmetrical, right? You took my leg. Yeah, I'm taking yours.
Yeah. Which should Francine should probably cut somebody's leg right off. Thank God.
All right.
Horrific.
So his righteousness dissolves into agony as the fists that he was leaning on become clutching claws that slide across the back of the table as his legs cut out from underneath him or blown out from underneath him no longer support him. So down he goes in a heap, still very much alive. There's a fountain of blood and he's screaming and wailing. Right. In half anger, half surprised outrage, like we're moving into temper tantrum territory. Like, no, it's not possible. Right.
All right. So I go in and I like pat Baxter on the shoulder. About time. Took you long enough. And I go to Tenet. If he has
extenuating circumstances.
If he has a sidearm, I take it just to make sure, and I restrain him, and I say something charming like, "You criminal son of a bitch! You brought him into this game, and now you want us to help? And you want us to help get rid of him?
Help me! I'm bleeding."
He's gonna bleed
Don't worry,
more.
you'll bleed out soon.
I'm restraining him. I'm not going to let him give himself first aid. And I looked and said, "Who the hell are you?"
She has her hands up. Right. And you do recognize the face from all of the files that you recently reviewed. The name's not coming to you, but she's some sort of fixer or operative for Weyland-Yutani.
The Weyland-Yutani rep. So
you're the one who were paying both him and Lim to get us all killed?
I got my shotgun trained on the other two guys just in case.
Yeah. And we got Hammett watching us.
Overwatch. Yeah, and Hammett has the other one.
We were supplying funds to the USC MC for the protection and good of all. And we were paying a finder's fee for scientific research to a private individual. And we may have been misled about the characteristics and qualities of that individual. And we are desperate to avoid any criminal liability in that regard and would willingly fund any righteous endeavor to bring that individual down.
Is she armed? At least obviously.
Not obviously armed, and her hands are up, but she is trying to manipulate you.
Okay. And so how do I defend against that?
That is your will.
Wits or
If the roll succeeds, you must attack or offer a deal of some kind.
Yep. And she has
shooter. Yeah.
She's making good sense.
okay. I'm considering it. It's like, makes sense. And
She's just an intermediary.
right. Yeah. So my counter offer is this. I still have the general's gun in my hand. So I aim it at her head. And I say, if you want to do what you say you want to do, you will give all the information about this operation, and particularly Lim's and Tenet's involvement, to Major O'Bannon and to Colonial Marine Command. Otherwise, Tenet was known for his temper. He shot you here.
Nice.
Would you like me to authorize that information transfer now?
Yes,
please, ma'am.
Could one of you nice gentlemen escort me to the communications suite?
Do it. Damn it.
So he whisks.
Yeah. Because he can oversee what she's doing.
Right. Hammett can make sure that she gets it done.
Okay. So a few moments later, he brings her back in saying, "Done and done."
Excellent.
Oh, that's why I say, Miss, I can't, and I'm just kind of pointing the gun in her direction without really pointing it at her. So, Miss, I couldn't help but overhear you were arguing with Charlie here a minute ago. Were you arguing about something about leaving somebody unattended, or? uncontained or something. You know, I forget the words. You know, I was so mad at Shirley.
So while they're doing this, I'm gonna see if I can tend to the general's wounds so that he doesn't die.
I was just going to ask about that as a medical professional. Yeah.
Right. Well, if you didn't kill him, right, and the intent is still to get him to court-martial, I guess we should. Unless this is a real short trial, right?
A Vietnam trial.
Yeah.
Okay. So she says this idiot brought one of the infected on board. Everyone's so excited about the species XX121 and saying how their life cycle is physical, and they insert a parasite into a host, but that's not the only way that they propagate their species. They were too well designed for that.
What else they do?
How else do they reproduce?
There are two other pathogenic factors: touch and airborne.
Airborne? Jeez. So, wait, who brought the infected? Lim?
No, Tenet. He brought it off of some, I don't know the classification, some small ship. He stormed us out here. He broke off the engagement with Lim. He chased this vessel, and he was talking about getting specimens, finally having specimens, finally getting his payday, and then he just walks him in here like he's no threat to the rest of us.
And where is this man now?
Well,
Wait, you mean our Mantis?
It's only one attached to the ship, as far as I know, buddy.
So now that she makes the connection, there's nowhere she wants to be that's
Near
far
us.
enough away
Yeah.
from you, right? So
Right.
she's trying to hold her breath, and she's looking for a way out.
It's just-
Oh yeah. Now the gun is like pointed right at her. Like, all right,
Right.
sister, start talking.
Where is this man now?
Sick bay.
Oh my God, is it Patches?
And
Well, why don't you take us there?
she's pointing, but not like extending her finger. She's pointing at
Right.
just her data pad on the table.
Right.
All right, so let's take a look. I touch it to Hammett.
And you counted our crew. So who else was missing? Right? Because you counted our crew.
Yeah, just Patch is missing.
Just Patches.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Patch. Just one.
And so on her data pad is the report of it's a medical file, standard USC MC medical file for Patch.
Son of a bitch. Why don't you take us there, Ham?
To take you there.
Oh yeah, take us there.
You can find it without me. I've done what you've asked. I don't need to go
Bleeding to
there.
death. Listen, bleeding to death from the femoral artery is a horrible way to go.
So is exploding from the inside.
Take your pick, hon.
Don't you understand? We might all be infected already.
That's horrible. Well, while you're having this existential crisis, honey, start walking.
She literally breaks down. The stress is too much for her, right? It's like, I don't understand. Why do I have to go? I don't know where it is on the ship. I just know it's sick bay. And why do you need my help? You're a big, strong Marine, and you're just bullying me. And you don't need my help. And she's just cycling through.
Might be right. I
Just got a point.
No, I think she might be right. Let's just leave her here. We can restrain her too. So if we're
tie her up.
Yeah, we'll zip tie her and then get the hell out. So you go to. So what we have to decide though is what's closest, right? Because now we have an extra goal. We have a side quest. What's closest? Because if the computer core is closer, we should complete that mission because we got more Marines than just Patch.
It's just across the hall.
So let's go to the computer core first.
Yeah.
And then we can go after patch.
All right.
I'm not going to leave him behind.
I'll ask the lady before we go, does Tenet have this data on the multiple modes of transmission? Is it in the data core? Is it in your pad?
Hammond's pad now.
It's not in my pad. And he was supposed to know. He's been informed. He's been looking for specimens for years.
Jeez. We need to know more about this species. So you have no knowledge in there. We'll risk the core, see what can be done. I mean, if Patches is infected, is there any way to get rid of it?
Burn it.
Is there a test we can do? How do we know who's infected?
One of the first signs, the skin starts to slough off. Unnecessary human appendages drop away.
Oh, that's not good.
That can't be good. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll leave you tied up, but we're not going to gag you because just in case there's some of those other things on board, they like to go in through the mouth. I don't want them to have any kind of problems with you, honey.
Oh,
And
on that terrifying note, we will draw today's session
Jeez,
to a close.
that's horrible. We could all be infected and there's no cure and there's no test. And it's
There's a cure, Marine.
there's a cure.
Flame. Yeah.
There's a cure. It doesn't have to be flames.
And you know,
Do
and
you
you
have
could,
an M4A3 at your holster, Marine?
I'll take care of that. Yeah.
and as a slight retcon, when she says unnecessary appendages, fall away, Jackson just kind of shudders a little bit. It's a little too close to home. God,
Jeez.
oh,
This is getting worse and worse.
And by that, you mean better and better, right?
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he means. Yes.
All right.
Oh.
So you took down Brigadier General Tenet. You just hosed him down. No tribunal.
No, nothing.
Military
No, nothing.
court of justice.
nothing. And apparently like right through the desk too. Through the desk onto his legs.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
he
no.
survived. So
But,
No, Baxter's like ready to break down and cry because he's so stressed out by the whole thing.
in the best possible of outcomes right now, in the best of all possible outcomes, which means that nobody else is infected, that we survive,
right.
both the Marines and the Mercs and the aliens, and we make it back. Odds are we're facing a court martial, right? So that,
Yeah.
even in the best circumstances,
Yeah,
so at this
completely
point,
screwed.
expediency starts taking a lead because the chance that we have all we can salvage is honor. We can't salvage a career.
No, right.
So
Right on.
Shot a Brigadier General's legs off.
Yeah, well, best case scenario, he dies, the lady dies as well, the Willoughbys die too, Hammett dies too, and it's just the three of us, and it's like,
Yeah. Willoughby's thinking like, why did it have to be my ship? And poor
Right.
Hammett's thinking like, why did they wake me up?
right.
Anybody up, but they wake me up.
18 people. And they pick me.
Yeah.
It's the best case scenario. Everybody else dies. It's just the
he's
three
got
of
the
them.
best chance of surviving right now of all those 18 people. So.
You could have just let me sleep. I could have died in my sleep. It would have been fine. I never would have known.
Raymond Hammett.
That poor guy.
Cool.
That was fun.
All right. Sorry it was so short,
Freaky.
but I've got to leap into action. I hope it was an enjoyable use of your time in an evening.
Yeah,
That was splendid. That was splendid. Can't believe you gave him medical care. My God.
All right.
Don't be.
Take care, gents.
Take care.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I don't want to talk to Willoughby.
One moment, please. Doorbells.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try
It's
to talk these
Tenet.
guys down or mow them down. It's Tenet. So
Oh, it's Tenet.
Yeah,
Baxter
the
has
bad guy.
Baxter has like 4 goals: kill Tenet, kill Lim. Let's see, what were the other ones? Kill the aliens and do something. There was something else I was going to kill. But Baxter's just so ticked at everybody.
yeah, I'm just wondering if we talk our way past these two or try to subdue them or just shoot them.
I don't want to shoot Willoughby. Either the Willoughby.
Right.
I'm just thinking, but at this point, if I understand it correctly, I can just kind of call to them in the briefing room anyway. We can already hear them. The door's open. These 2 jackasses are just standing in the doorway because that's what they're supposed to do. While Tenet and some unnamed person are arguing. I understand correctly.
I have returned.
Okay, good.